1. Hey there, creepy critters. I'm looking for advice in this matter, since recent stuff happened and I need to know. So, for many years, me and my cousin Kay have been very close. We are 2 months and a year apart from one another, and were raised in different homing situations. I was a surprise baby from a 3, almost 4-month relationship, and she was a planned child with a married couple of a year. I went through my own dad issues with a PTSD alcoholic father, while she went through her own with a divorced family and, honestly, a scummy uncle. P.S. Both dads are better now. Both me and her weren't rich, but that was fine. We both were humble bees in a hive. During my senior year of high school, Kay went on a trip abroad to Spain and lived there for a year with her college classes. It looked fun, and we jokingly mentioned to do it together. We were basically siblings. She came back and went to a different state from my own to continue with college and lived in an apartment with her boyfriend, who was the dopiest dude I've met. I don't know what changed, but it started during the panic that was the pandemic. Kay and her boyfriend had to do online classes, as did I and many others, but after a year she moved back to her state to live with her grandfather and her dad, who lived together. My grandpa's a depressed old man who constantly mourns over the loss of his wife, my grandma, and my uncle, Kay's dad, was in and out of the hospital due to his drinking. Both were getting worse, so I knew she was getting stressed, so me and my other family members helped out. Then, barely any time to remember, she was in a pandemic. Kay started wanting to go out. She would invite me out on the town, which is fair since she's back and we're both allowed to do so much. And it was a lot of fun at first. Then the reason why I'm making this post slowly started. There have been moments when Kay's boyfriend called while in the car while she drove us to the newest location for entertainment, and once he hangs up, she complained how he's so weird about money. She was basically acting like she's the only one making money and hoarding it, when they both work, and honestly, of both jobs he had the higher income. Now here's the thing for the next stories. I'm an 80% introvert with autism and social anxiety. I take jokes seriously by accident and apologize quite often, and due to a lot of trauma and toxic friends who even straight up victim blamed me, I suffer from a habit of shutting down and letting the fountain in my head overflow from these bottled emotions, and I even blame myself if someone gets angry even when it's not on me. I also have an issue that my main love language is gift giving, meaning I enjoy giving things to people to show my love, next to physical touch. In other words, I'm a doormat. But I've been getting better and growing a proper spine with the help of friends and loved ones. I even yelled at my dad during one of his yelling fits for no reason, which I was shaking over. But either way, this I need to say, because of the main incidences that happened. File number 1, the target. So this was a thing that happened months ago and is still fresh in my mind. Kay randomly came to our house waiting to do tie-dye and even brought her own kit. This was a fun idea, but we had no white clothes, so it was me and Kay to the nearest Target we go. I originally planned to buy 2 white hoodies and a white blank t-shirt, and a white t-shirt with an image on it to tie-dye. That was the plan for both. But then she started to grab random things and show them off and put them in the cart. I said twice, "Okay, you can put those down, but we have to put the ones we don't want back." In the trip, if I so much as said something was cute, she put it in the cart. She saw a pair of jeans and hinted how she so badly wanted them but can't pay for them, and left them in a huff. I had come up with a bunch of tie-dye options and put a bunch of men's clothes in the cart so she could tie-dye something for her boyfriend. By the end, the cart was a mountain of white clothes, and I told her twice that she should pay for her stuff, and I had my plan and made her own. She agreed. Then, while I was ready to check out, she walked away to look at a shirt, and I was stuck paying. Due to my autism, I get paid by the government since my autism and anxiety makes it hard to do a normal job. I can't explain it into words, but basically I get paid every month for disability. It cost about $300 altogether, including like 1 stick of gum. Worst part? We come home and show my mum the haul. And when she asked what happened, she hates when I overspend, Kay basically told her she was showing me items and I grabbed and put them in the cart, and how she tried to make me stop but she couldn't. I wasn't quiet on this. I told her that's not what happened, but she kept saying that story. My mom, however, believed me, and we went through an hour of sorting through what we wanted to tie-dye and put the unwanted stuff in a bag to return in the morning. I got a refund, and my mom told my aunt, who in turn warned Kay. Kay never paid me back for the items that were hers, but I don't care about that. File number 2, the baby shower. Kay has a lot of friends. She's an extrovert for sure, and one of her friends was having a baby shower for her second kid. And Kay and another 2 friends were invited, so she invited me as well to get me out of the house, which would be fine, except I knew no one there, and just 2 weeks ago the Target thing happened. I did get a new dress from my sister as a surprise random gift from her, so I was somewhat excited to show it off at the party. When I got in the car, Kay mentioned that she and her friends are going to buy the baby shower gift in a store on the way, which I thought was weird but didn't say anything. We go to the store and they paid for the baby gifts. Fun, right? Well, in the parking lot, Kay suddenly perked how the friend's first child, a 4-year-old, was most likely going to be upset no one bought him anything, even though the party is at his own house where his own toys are. We all went to a Target, yes, I know, and I was expecting they were going to get a stuffed animal or toy car, which would be $1 or $2, but they all agreed on this big-ass toy truck with over 50-liter cars and trucks inside the box that was $20. We get to the checkout, and I, after a while, agreed to pay for the toy. It was $20, right? What pain could it cause? Well, I also ended up with them and myself paying for 2 stops at Starbucks on the way, mainly because we wanted Starbucks and one girl realized she didn't like her drink and wanted another at the same time they wanted refills. The party was okay. It was honestly fun, but one of the friends' babies did puke onto my new dress and I was basically alone for the whole night. I stole a bunch of sodas, though. Here's the thing about both those incidents. She has enough money to pay for both. She got her paycheck that month and wasn't paying rent in her dad's and grandpa's home. File number 3, the amusement park. So in my area we have an amusement park, like a boardwalk, but half the size and rides that are popular for the summer. Me and Kay love it, as well as my sister. Me and Kay were there often beforehand when we were both free, and my sister's been there a few times. My sister is in her teen years now, so it was perfect. Anyway, before we went to the park, we ate lunch at a nice place. Super State checks, and I paid for me and my sister's stuff, since now I wasn't offering to pay for everything. Growing a spine, you know. After we ate, we went to the park and bought passes for a day. I bought 2 passes, one for me, one for my sister, while Kay paid for her own, as we agreed on. She, however, seemed snippy about it, as if I was going to pay for her. The first thing Kay and my sister wanted to do was this spinning ride that goes in a full circle of 2 carts, and you apparently have the free will to make your cart spin however you want. I love roller coasters, but I hate the ones where I'm dangling over the seat witnessing how high up I am. I like classic rides like the Haunted Mansion, which is calm, or rides like the Big Dipper, which are fast but nothing to give me an anxiety attack. I wasn't all for doing this ride, but my sister begged me, so I went on. Kay and my sister were on a cart and I had to wait for the next round, as I was in one cart by myself. Also, the person settling me in didn't tell jack shit about how this ride worked, so at several points I was spinning so fast and dangled, and at one point I was high above, making the ride stop, on the edge of bursting into tears of fear and embarrassment. The ride ended and I was spinning like crazy. I tasted the faintness of my lunch earlier, and I needed to sit down. Kay wanted to go on a ride like the Big Dipper instead and said, "After this you can sit down." Well, we all went on and I felt worse. Did Kay stop and take me home? No. She kept repeating "after this ride" over and over, and I sat out for literally all of them with many water bottles by my side that cost $3 each. At one point, I sat at a bench feeling terrible and started crying. My sister comforted me, and I kept apologizing over and over, in my mind at least ruining the night. My sister told me I wasn't and it was fine, and we both mentioned how I didn't feel well to Kay, who just rolled her eyes and complained how we wasted so much money over this, which made me feel worse. We stayed there for a total of 3 hours, with me either sitting on a bench or the floor drinking cold water, and trying not to cry from the head spins and loud noises and lights around me. We did finally leave, but not because of me feeling like hell and us complaining about it, but because of a personal issue with her friends. On the upside of that whole thing was I got a kissy-missy doll while we were there. File number 4, the bookstore. This happened sometime after I recovered from the amusement park dizzy spins and vomiting for almost 2 days, when Kay came over with her dad and Grandpa. She saw on Instagram an author she liked very much just announced a new book a day ago, and said it'll be in all bookstores in my area, and she wanted to go. I would be fine to go, but I wasn't wanting to spend a lot of money that week, and it was hotter than Satan's balls and armpits in my city, but everyone in the room stared at me, so I had to say yes. My sister came with too. We walked into the bookstore. My sister got Starbucks gift cards as a gift from a friend, so we got that while Kay ditched us in search of the book. On the way, me and my sister found one book each that we'd both enjoy. Mine was a book with proper LGBT representation with pagan roots, while she found an awesome true crime lesbian story. We love the creepiness and gayness. After we paid for our drinks and books, we found Kay looking pissed. The store didn't have any more of the book she wanted. On the walk to the car, she complained how apparently they were of no help to her, even though they did their best, and how, if they didn't have it in stock, then why didn't they say so on the site? I'm kind of low-key protective of this bookstore, so I was calming her down and explaining to her how they tried their best, and for her to understand that it was the day before a well-known author announced a new book in local bookstores of the area, and it was bound to go sell out. She stopped the argument only to start up again, and each time I was getting more and more pissed off over it. Then she started talking to me as if I was an idiot, but asking, "I'm sorry, did you take economics in high school?" Which I did, and I told her. She started to fumble with her words and continued the argument. Once we got home, I was so pissed I went straight to my room to de-stress, because I hate being angry. She left after that. File number 5, random late-night hangouts. These are in-between things that happened after the bookstore incident. Kay would come over, either alone or with her dad or boyfriend late at night, where I would be more than ready to not talk and socialize with people around me, and talk with the friends I can't see for a long time, and draw. It's okay, but she doesn't get that I'm an introvert. There's been moments where she stayed to 11 at night just painting by herself while my dad went to bed. My sister was at a friend's house, and my mom and uncle went to the store real fast to get my uncle eggs. I got up and told her I was going to bed, since it was late and I have to stick to a schedule of video hangouts with my professors about the classes. Kay got annoyed and started to complain how I don't have anything better to do. And we're finally adults. Adults stay up longer than this. The thing is, she knows how my mind works and also knew how important these meetings are, but I didn't push her on it. Another time, she and her boyfriend came in late at night, and we painted and drew and watched Mr. Fantastic, which is one of my favorite movies. And it got to the point where it was a huge, beautiful scene of emotions and Kay was crying. I couldn't see from where I was and how dark the room was, so I asked if she was crying. Not in a tone of being rude, because I don't trust myself watching Disney or Pixar movies in movie theaters because of how I ugly cry. But she snapped at me and yelled that I always do this shit, which I have never once did. And finally, file 6, yesterday. This happened yesterday, and both my sister and I were home alone for about an hour. I was going to get food when my sister came in the room and said Kay was on the phone. My phone is broken, so hers was the best option. Kay was telling us she was planning on coming over with one of her friends, whom the last time they were here said they weren't on speaking terms, and that friend's 1-year-old baby whom I have photographed for her to ask advice on party planning. No one wanted them over. My dad hates random guest stuff because we have to get all our dogs outside and he has to make food not everyone's going to eat, and me and my sister weren't up for it. I was given the phone, heard her out, and said that was okay, but maybe she should wait a little more for my mom or dad to come home, just so we can get the dogs out, and my mom would give her better advice than me. I even said I'll try my best. Kay snapped at me, yelling at me for taking things too serious and literal, and how I'm being confusing and not making sense and a bunch of other stuff. I will admit I began to shut down and tear up, and my sister took over the call again, and Kay hung up, saying she'll text any of us when she's coming over, and after that, my sister did her best to comfort me. Our dad came home, and we told him what happened. He wasn't happy, obviously, and Mum came home after, and we let her in. Hours passed, and there's been no sign or message from Kay once. And she ended up not showing up and didn't even let us know. Never mind a message. Which I think that's worse since my dad made a big dinner for them only to be wasted. I hate to think my own cousin would be entitled, but my mind just can't stop thinking of it over and over. Am I the asshole to assume this? And what should I do now? 2. Okay, so this is the first entitlement that really got under my skin at work today. It's not as egregious as other stories, mind you. Some context, I work in a hardware store in the UK. We offer thousands of products, so no. The counter service doesn't know every item and how exactly it works. Nor are we for advice on problems or DIY projects you don't really understand. I have worked here for over a year, so some things I do know after talking to regulars. One thing I do not have any idea about is power tools. They are expensive and easily broken in some cases. If you don't know what you're doing, you will break your very expensive power tools. The following conversation occurred today. Good morning, how can I help you?
What blades does this take?
As he asks, he waves a handheld power tool around, which he came in with. He didn't just buy it from us. What is it? I've never seen a tool like that before. He doesn't appear to listen.
So the blades go here, I think.
And he gestures to a point on the tool. Realizing I won't be getting anywhere with this guy, I ask my colleague as he passes if he knows what the item is and what blades we are after. My colleague, who has worked in this store for over 7 years and knows a lot of our products because he's had to deal with conversations like this on the daily for years, he tells us both that it's a planer, and they usually take an 82mm blade. Great, I know what I'm looking for now. The customer looks at me expectantly, and I realize he still has no clue how you look for our products in the catalog, and come up to the counter with codes, so we can check the stock and grab it for you. So I grab a catalog and find the page for planer blades. It's a small section, 3 different variants of the same thing. One item has 2 sizes, an 82 and an 82.5mm. I hand him the catalog and tell him this must be what he is after. He glances at the catalog and then asks me what size he should get. I repeat what my colleague said about 82mm being the common fit, and he picks the cheapest one, so we can have a look at them. I do so, and the rest of the sale goes pretty normal. I just want to be done with this customer at this point. Though he has an account with us, he knows how our stores operate, which also ticks me off. Before I actually put the payment through, he proceeds to ask me how to fit the blade into his machine. I tell him I'm unsure about that and cannot recommend any way, as if I do and he follows my advice, which causes damage to his tool, then we end up with a very irate customer coming back to us, as happened in the past with staples and nails being the wrong size and gauges. He tuts, pays for his item and leaves. I didn't see him for the remaining hour and a half of my shift, so I assume he got what he needed. Although take it from me, if you're going to do a DIY project, research it yourself or consult someone who knows what they're talking about. Not the counter sales assistant from where you're buying your items from. We are there for sales, not for advice. Additionally, if you're going to be hiring someone for work on a project about your home, make sure they know what they're doing. The amount of guys that have done various trades for years and still ask us about simple things is scarily alarming. Don't get me wrong, we will always try to help. But don't get mad at us for not knowing how to fix the waste overflow and drain for your wash bin in your home. It's not what we are here for. We are here to sell products, not professional advice. We normally only know what is in the catalog or what is online, as those are what we have to hand in the store. 3. I'm a 19-year-old female and I work at a library. I work in the children's department along with older co-workers, 30s to 50s, as well as other teens. I've been working there since high school, which is how I know Melanie, 18, female. To put it bluntly, Melanie and I are not friends. We used to be friendly back in high school, as we had a couple of the same friends, and we've both been working at our job for years. I would definitely not call us friends currently, though, due to Melanie's attitude. She's that type of person who will ask for a favor, and if you refuse, she will act like a complete asshole to you. Once in high school, she asked me for a ride home, but I said no, as I had a track meet or something that day, and obviously couldn't take her. She huffed and stormed off, glaring at me for like a week before she came back, acting like nothing had happened, and asked me for a ride home again. It's clear too that she doesn't really see us as friends, as when we work together she'll ignore me completely, or just glare at me, only talking to me if it's something involving our job or if she needs something. If she needs something from me, then suddenly we're best friends and she'll chat with me like nothing happened. So yeah, I don't really like her. To the main story. I came to work yesterday afternoon, like 2:30ish, and Melanie was there. Our shifts alternate slightly, when there's like an hour where the two of us are both working before she leaves and I continue my shift. I hadn't seen her since we graduated, so we spent a few minutes catching up. She then asked me if I could take her home after her shift ended. I obviously refused, as I still had hours before I was done with mine, and I told her such. She then implied that I could use my break time to drive her, and I honestly laughed out loud, because I thought she was joking. Our breaks are 15 minutes long. It would take 30 minutes to drive there and back from her home without traffic. Realistically, it would end up taking like 45 to 60 minutes, because of how heavy traffic in our area is. B, who wants to spend their time off driving someone home? Melanie was shockingly not joking though, claiming that it would be doable and that she really needed the ride, because she had to be home and her mom couldn't take her. I said no, sorry, but no way that's happening. Melanie stormed off and ignored me for the rest of the shift before she, I assumed at the time, left. I didn't think much more of the situation. A little amused at her audacity, but whatever. Eventually, my time to leave comes, so I wave bye to my co-workers and head outside. That's when I see Melanie, sitting outside on one of the benches. She immediately perked up after seeing me, running over while I just looked at her. "You're leaving, right? Can you give me a ride?" I was shocked. I flat out asked her if she had been waiting for practically 4 hours for me to leave, even after I said no. She said that no, she walked to our nearby town to do other things before she came back here. But in my opinion, that still counts as her waiting for me to drive her. I was creeped out and honestly pissed off, since it felt to me like she was trapping me and playing the "you're leaving so you can take me too" card. It took everything in me not to yell or even book it to my car. I calmly told her that I had plans after work. No, I could not take her. And honestly, it was insane that she would just wait around and assume I'd take her, instead of getting the message and calling someone else. She just stared at me. I think she was shocked I actually stood up to her. With that, I walked to my car and drove off. I really hope she never tries to do that to me or any of our other co-workers, to be honest. 4. Okay, first off, this just happened. And 2, why me? To set the story, I'm on my way to a doctor's appointment, not COVID. I have stopped at a local gas station for some jitter juice, full throttle, when the village idiot shows up. I was leaving the store getting into my vehicle. I left my driver's door open to vent the car because it's hot as balls where I am. That's when Karen shows up. I say Karen because calling her Satan would be too nice. "Excuse me, mind turning off your music? It's not appropriate for children." Now, there were 0 kids around. I say, what? How is my music not appropriate? It's my car, and I can listen to what I like. "We live in America, a nation built under God. You should listen to wholesome Christian music." Yep, she'd be one of those. Yes, we live in the US where we have the freedom of choice and freedom to do what we want within reason. So I'm gonna listen to my rock music and be on my way.
No, you're not leaving till you change that unholy music.
I grab my equalizer, which is a quarter piece of round stock steel. Lady, read my shirt. It says CSI, can't stand idiots. If you don't move right now, I'll call the cops and have you arrested for false imprisonment and harassment. At this point, Karen's husband comes out of the store.
What the hell are you doing?
Directed at Karen.
Why the hell are you causing another fucking scene?
But honey, he's not listening to Christian music. He needed to be saved.
I don't care. This is the third time this week you've done this. Get in the car right now.
No, I'm standing there with a smart-ass grin on my face at this point.
Listen, I'm sorry for her behavior. She normally isn't like this. But the way things are right now, she went off the deep end. And her church doesn't help much.
No worries, man. Just drive safe. So we parted ways, and I got my appointment on time, so yay. 5. I'm a 21-year-old male and was playing on a Minecraft server a few days ago called Noble Realms. They are a very friendly community and will accept a lot of people. Just remember to follow the rules, unlike this spoiled brat. So anyway, I was building a map pixel flab art thing, whatever you want to call it, and some guy, entitled but turned nice, said he would look at this. He then refused to leave my town and said my curtains were the Finnish flag. They weren't. They were just a random banner that I got from a different town. He then invites another player into my town. I kick them both. He still remains, though, and demands that we have a PvP battle. No prize, just 1.18.2 PvP. I lost because I was not ready. He then proceeds to steal my shulker and give it to entitled brat. The conversation played out somewhat like this. Wait, did you take my shulker?
Noob.
Give it back or I'm going to report you to an admin.
I don't have it. I gave it to entitled brat.
Why would you steal it, though?
'Cause I won.
But we never established a prize.
So?
Then enters my lifesaver, who threatened to call in an admin, and he actually did when entitled brat said,
Man, it's mine.
Then the worst part, entitled brat teleports to me and kills me. My items land on a tree, so I got half of my items. I was missing my pick, sword, boot, shield, rockets, and shulker, though, which cost 50k in total. I only have 40k currently, so it's a big deal. Entitled brat tries to get away using my boat, but I get in his, and he gets out and teleports away to his base. 2 minutes later, enter admin.
What is happening here?
This person thinks he can nick my stuff by saying that he owned it and I stole it.
Okay, what's your side of the story?
These people think they can steal my expensive items and clearly haven't followed the rules. 1, no stealing, and 6, no trespassing. The guy from the beginning has now turned nice.
EP, just give it back, or else we might get banned.
But he stole it.
Well, I can check the latest log to find out who originally had these.
Oh, no, wait, I didn't mean it. I can pay you 15k.
It says that OP originally had the items.
Now at this point, EB and entitled turned nice friends were on, and they knew something was up. EB decided that even though it was a diamond for aesthetic, he should upgrade my stuff to netherite and use it. Admin now asks me what I lost. I tell the admin, and she says that EB put all my loot in my shulker and titled it free loot. That's right, he was planning to sell my items. So I say nope, it's unnamed, empty, and undyed. The admin says, okay, I have recovered your loot. Now then, EB, why on earth did you think it was okay to loot a PvP body and then rename it, sell it, and upgrade it? EB continues to whine about how it's his and I stole it, but the admin says that if it was EB's and they had it still, why did it matter? The admin leaves, and that's the end of the story, right? Well, no. EB continues to do something that made me sick. He private messaged me saying I owed him netherite ingots. I told him why, and I don't have any. And he says that I gotta give him 2 ingots. Now, I kid you not. The reason why I would give him 2 ingots, 2 ingots is 36k, which is ridiculous, according to him, is because he upgraded my pickaxe to netherite. Yep, He thought that because he stole my pick and made it netherite with his money, I had to pay him for what he did. Needless to say, he has been mutilated and temporarily banned for the next 3 weeks, so he can never whine about it again. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, episode 72. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, if you could please hit the like button. And also hydrate. It's important that you hydrate, especially when things are hot like they are. If you could possibly get a thermal bottle, you know, those kind of insulated bottles to keep the water nice and cool, it's very good to have those nearby as well. Right, let's see. It is Saturday, the day in which we sit. No other day of the week, but we sit on Saturday. And possibly Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but only those days. Right, okay. Straight to the question of today, I think. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be doing a stream later, but we'll see. You know, let's not stress ourselves, we'll see. My sleeping schedule's messed up. But if I can nap and feel okay before then, stream will happen. Right, now to Hellfreezer's question of the day, which is seasonal food stuff that you wish were available all year round. Like, I would really like it if Cadbury's cream eggs were available all year round, but you can't. You can only get them at Easter. I also wish they didn't wrap them in foil, but that's a different thing. They tear too easily, then people touching them and things. Yeah. But I'm sure you've all got your favorites that you like that are only seasonal. I'm sure some people might say candy corn, for example. I've never tried that, but maybe it's good. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews is what I've heard. So let me know what you think. Some of your favorites you wish you had more access to in a comment below. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves. Like, seriously, if I hear you're not taking care of yourselves, I'm going to come over there.